Hello and welcome to Fight Life Nation. Today I want to talk about the results of UFC 272, Jorge Masvidal versus Colby Covington. The card just ended a couple hours ago. I wanted to make a video before I went to bed. That way I could put it out early tomorrow morning, which will be, I guess, today on Sunday. This card was really good for not having very big fights on it. You know, none of the fights were huge. I didn't even think the main event was main event worthy. I know that sounds silly because it was a big fight, Jorge versus Colby. But these were guys coming off, if not back-to-back losses. I know Jorge had back-to-back losses. Colby had, I think, a fight in between. But that's the kind of feel it had. It had the feel of back-to-back losses. And I wasn't into it as much. I knew Colby was going to out-wrestle him. I knew Jorge's best shot was to throw a punch that, you know, he throws really fast, but I just don't think that Jorge has it anymore. I think he used to be a real technical striker. He used to be on real close fights. Now I think if you have any wrestling, you can push him up against the cage. I don't think he can do a whole lot. I think this guy owes half of his paychecks for the rest of his life should go to Nate Diaz and Ben Askren. They basically made his whole career before he became this phony Montana guy. I'm not a Jorge fan at all. Colby Covington, he looked good the fight, you know, like he didn't look spectacular. I mean, he's beating a guy who's been beaten the same way by Usman, same way he was beaten by Damian Maia. I mean, it is what it is at this point. Okay, the next fight on the undercard was the co-main event. It was RDA versus Moicano. RDA won. It wasn't an easy fight, but it was definitely it was what it was. RDA is an elite fighter. Moicano is a 145er who was moving up on short notice to step in on this fight. Got a good payday. Took a beating for it. I hope that was well worth it. I wish his corner would have stopped it. I think everybody wished his corner would have stopped it. They kept talking about it on the commentary. I think this whole idea of the MMA doesn't stop fights in the middle of rounds is silly. I think that's something they should do. I don't think it should look down on. I don't think people should think that somebody's weak because they're stopping the fight, or even the fighter if he decides to stop the fight. Who needs to take undue punishment when they don't need to? I mean, what did that help? How does that help Moicano? Is anyone going to buy one extra ticket of his, you know, to think that he's going to win anything? No, he just got beat up. You know, he got beat up against a guy who's one of the elite lightweights fighting a 145er who blew up all the way to 160. That's not something that's going to help your career. We're going to move on. Bryce Mitchell versus Edson Barboza. I called this fight. I've done the research for it. I was thinking coming into it that Edson Barboza was going to smoke him. I thought Edson Barboza is an elite fighter. He throws tremendous kicks. I'm a huge Edson Barboza fan. I mentioned it in my breakdown video in the UFC games. I used to always play as Edson Barboza. He's a fun fighter to watch. I love watching him. But in this fight, Edson Barboza could not deal with grappling, and that's been his history of his whole career. He does not do well against grapplers. He doesn't have a single win that I can see except for Beneil Dariush, where he flying kneed him. He doesn't have another win besides that against a grappler of note. He lost to Tony Ferguson, Kevin Lee. I went through the whole list the other day. You can check that video to see. He just doesn't have a good win against grapplers. And that's what Bryce Mitchell does really good. Bryce Mitchell really takes away Edson Barboza's best move, which is the kicks. If Edson Barboza would throw a kick, Bryce Mitchell would charge in. I thought one thing that was weird in the first round, Bryce Mitchell was trying to stand with him. I think that's going to catch him one day. I don't think, you know, if he were to face someone like a Giga Chikadze and try to go, you know, stand with him, I think that's a bad idea. I wouldn't do it. But that's how that fight went. You know, I think Bryce Mitchell going forward, there's going to be a good market for him. He's a homegrown American talent. You know, he's got this persona of a country boy. I think people are going to be fans of him. They're going to want to see more of him. He's just got to keep winning. If he keeps winning, he's going to be a star. Another guy on the undercard, Kevin Holland versus Cowboy Oliveira. This fight kind of went the way everyone thought it was going to go. Uh, Holland was a big favorite coming in. Everyone knew he had a lot of power. Cowboy looked good. He had some power himself. He kicked him down. He would knock him down. He looked like he had him in trouble a couple times. But Kevin Holland in the end came out in the second round, knocked him out. It wasn't an extremely close fight. It wasn't. It was what it was. I don't see Kevin Holland doing too good in the welterweight division. There's a lot of wrestlers at that weight. I think it's the same as any other. He's a limited fighter. But it is what it is. I root for Kevin Holland. He's a good fighter to watch. It's just I don't think he's going to do good against wrestlers. The fight underneath that was Greg Hardy versus Sergei Spivak. That fight went exactly how I thought it was going to go. I was going to make a breakdown video. I ran out of time. I knew that Greg Hardy could not handle wrestlers. Tybura, I forget the gentleman's first name, but Tybura is the fighter that I've seen Greg Hardy fight that was similar to Spivak, a guy who likes to wrestle. And even though they're limited wrestlers, it's good enough for someone like Greg Hardy. He can't do anything about it. Spivak took him down and just started ground and pounding him until the fight was stopped. I even think when they were pulled Spivak up or Spivak got up, Greg Hardy didn't even know where he was. They said that he didn't know why the fight was stopped. He was lost. I don't know how you can ever bet on someone like Greg Hardy going forward. I mean, unless he's fighting somebody who has absolutely no wrestling, no takedowns, and it's just a straight up fight, then he has a puncher's chance. But I mean, these fighters, you can tell when they don't have any wrestling defense and they just get taken down. I wouldn't put any money on them. They can't handle it in the UFC. These people that don't like wrestlers, well, tough luck. That's part of the game. It's called mixed martial arts. Get over it. Another fight on the undercard, Jaylen Turner versus Jamie Malarkey. I'm a big Jaylen Turner fan. You can go and you can check out his interview with us right before his pro debut. He did an interview with us. Like I said, I'm a Jaylen Turner fan. He's very dynamic. That's what he did to Jamie Malarkey. Put on all kinds of different striking on him. He's hitting him with everything but the kitchen sink. Ended up hurting him. Ended up getting the stoppage win. That's what he does best. Just putting on the pressure and throwing a bunch of strikes. He's way improved than he was in the last couple of years. I was really happy with what I saw. Jamie Malarkey isn't a bum. The only thing that I think Jamie Malarkey has to work on, because he has good wrestling, he showed that he had wrestling in this fight, is Jamie Malarkey kind of has this jab followed by an overhand hook, or overhand right. That's his move. That's what he likes to do. But you know what? If you're pretty dynamic, you can avoid it. You can just strike in the middle of those combinations. You break it up. You make him do other stuff, or he can't set it up. It takes away his biggest weapon. I'm going to watch Jamie Malarkey going forward. I'm a big fan. But Jaylen Turner, I think it's almost time for him to crack the top 15. It'll be interesting to see who they match him up with. There's a lot of names out there that would be fun. And one name that was thrown around that I heard was Bobby Green. I think that would be tremendous. They're both from the IE. They're both from San Bernardino. That would be a fun fight to watch. I don't know if they'd fight because they probably even train together. I don't know 100%, but because they're from the same region, I wouldn't doubt if they did. I don't know if they're friendly or not. I know they're both fighting out of San Bernardino, Ontario, Victorville, that area. Another fighter I want to talk about is Marina Rodriguez versus Yan Chanan. Yan Chanan is a fun fighter to watch. She throws a lot of shots. In this fight, I thought she looked really good the first round. She was doing great. I don't think she ever looked bad in the whole fight. I think Marina Rodriguez just turned it up. Marina Rodriguez is the next number one contender. She's lost to the young lady who's going to fight for the title against Rose. It's, the name is just escaping me. I want to say it's Cupcake is her name, but that's Misha Tate. But she lost to her. So did Yan Chanan. They each had the same person they lost to. So obviously that's the right person to get the number one shot. But Marina Rodriguez is the next in line. Marina Rodriguez is a beast. She went in there and she picked up the pace. Towards the end, she was throwing the harder shot. She looked great. I mean, she looks like an animal in there. I think she's going to go for the title. I think she gives Rose her biggest challenge. I would favor Marina Rodriguez in that fight. I know Rose is more technical, but Marina is just like a freight train coming from the belt. A woman who didn't do so well, a woman who I picked to win and looked terrible, was Maria Agapova in her fight against Marina Moroz. That was a terrible fight for Agapova, and this is what happens with Agapova every time she comes out. Maria Agapova, one fight will look like the next, the modern Joanna Jędrzejczyk, the next version of her at 125, and then the next fight she'll look like a bum. She looked like a bum against Shayna Dobson. She looked tremendous in her last fight against Sabina Mazo, and then she looks like a bum tonight. And I mean, that's probably a mean thing to say. It's probably not true. She's probably still a great fighter. But you know what? Against Marina Moroz, Moroz pushed her up against the cage. And basically, if there were two guys, you would say that she sunned her. She basically made her son and just did whatever she wanted with her. She couldn't do anything against her. She looked terrible. Marina looked great. Marina's going to move up on the rankings. I want to see her next fight. I can't wait to see it. But the story for me is Agapova just... I'll never have confidence in her again. She's too inconsistent. But hey, if you think about it, her next fight, she should look spectacular again, because that's how she does. She trades fights. At one fight she'll look good, one fight she looks terrible. One fight she looks good, one fight she looks terrible. So her next fight should be like the best fight of all time for her. Heck, match her up with Shevchenko. I mean, she has a shot, right? It'll be her best fight ever. Another fight that was on the undercard that was important was Umar Nurmagomedov. Let's try this one more time. Umar Nurmagomedov. He fought on the undercard, and he looked great. He looked spectacular against Brian Kelleher. He won. I don't remember if it was by a submission or by strikes, but he looked great doing it. It wasn't even close. And in fact, I think it was a submission. I think he rear naked choked him. It was a great fight. That's all I could say. Umar looks like the next big prospect. I don't think Brian Kelleher is the guy that you're going to go, oh, he beat him. He's the next big thing. But it's a good name to get. It's a good fight to get. I just hope he stays busy. Some of these guys that look great, they just go out there and they hardly ever fight. A good name to think about is like Sean O'Malley. I want to see Sean O'Malley more. And I just feel like I heard that he fought 3 times last year. I don't remember it. One of those times was against Chris Moutinho. I mean, I don't know. I just like to see these prospects fight a lot. I hate when they don't fight, especially when they're not ranked. Just keep fighting. Stay busy. I want to see more of you. We'll see what happens, though. The last fight I want to talk about that was on the undercard. It was the card that opened up. It was Dustin Jacoby versus Mikhail Oleksiejczuk. Mikhail Oleksiejczuk. It's like Joanna Jędrzejczyk, but I can't say it because of all the different letters. But he's a Polish gentleman. Either way, that fight was good. You know, I knew coming into it. I made a video. I picked Oleksiejczuk to win, but he didn't win. Jacoby looked good. Jacoby, I knew that there was going to be a problem, that Jacoby wasn't going to be able to get off kicks. I guess he came out and said that he had an injury is why he couldn't get off his kicks this time. But I really just feel like he couldn't get off kicks because he didn't have the distance that he needed to do that. But yeah, he didn't get the distance that he needed. He didn't get his kicks, but he was able to outstrike him. And the number one thing that I saw is Mikhail got tired, and Dustin got tired too, but Mikhail got more tired. And that fight was what it was. I don't know where Dustin Jacoby goes from here. Pretty soon he's going to start fighting top 15 guys. There are some matchups there that I think would be exciting. I think a fight with him and Johnny Walker would be great. But I don't know if you match Johnny Walker up that low. I don't know if Johnny Walker's management team wants to fight someone that low. It'll be interesting. I think that would be a fun fight to have. So we'll have to see. That's about it for UFC 272. I just wanted to make this video to do a review, tell you guys how it went. We'll see where it goes from here on out. We'll see how everybody does, how they matchmake the winners of this fight, how they matchmake the losers. I'll probably come out with a video where I matchmake them, at least the top 5 guys, top 6, 7. The guys that I've already done a video on, most likely I will do a matchmaking video on that. We'll see, and then we'll start talking about next week's fights. Guys, if you like this review of the fight, if you want to see more videos from this channel, I support all the local fighters here in Southern California. I need to grow. I'm trying to build my brand. Make sure you subscribe to this channel, like this video. It helps. I'll see you guys on the next one.